On this video we're going to do plyometrics training. Plyometrics is known as jump training, generally not for someone who's a dead beginner or in really poor condition. You can sort of start them. I've got 4 steps here under each step. What you might like to do if someone's not used to plyometrics, start them on a much lower bench or just tiny jumps, working up as they get fitter and stronger. So the first thing with plyometrics, it's just teaching your legs to drop one energy phase, pick up another. It's really hard on your legs, on your butt muscles, on your core, so it's working all of these dynamic muscles. It'll teach them to switch off when you're focusing on punching in the dojo and doing things like that. Your legs will just learn to adapt because of this sort of training. So the first thing we're going to do, just a front jump, landing, jumping up. Don't jump off, because generally you'll be on floorboards. At the moment I'm on carpet, so it's a little bit more comfort. So when you're jumping off, you don't want to be jumping on floorboards or onto cement, so you jump up but you step off. So here, landing light, making sure your bum, once again, all the way down, in line with your knees. Don't go down here, because then the muscles in your legs aren't working, they've switched off. You want it so that these are under tension, so it's time under tension work. That's what makes your muscles really strong. There, and just landing nice and light. Almost like you're landing on a marshmallow, so you're trying to land with no noise. That's why you use your arms. It'll just slow the force of the jump down a little bit. Okay, Rachel's going to do a side one for me. Same principle. So we're just going to do the same thing, but this time it's jumping sideways. So we're using completely different muscles. This brings on the hamstrings and the transverse abdominals a little bit harder than this one. Same thing, trying to land light, making sure you're landing nice and deep. Lovely. So we've done sort of power strength work. We use our Bosus. This is called fast feet. So fast feet is just basically if I asked you to run on the spot. So running on the spot on the ground's fairly easy. What we're going to do is do it on a Bosu. Whole different dynamic. Everything has to work. Twitch fibers, muscles, brain, core, everything. So it's just running on the spot on the Bosu. Not as easy as it looks. You've really got to take a little bit of practice with that one. This one here, Rachel, is a squat. So we're going to squat down and then we're going to jump on the Bosu really fast and back off. So off and on really fast. Same thing, landing light. Also you can do a squat and sit where it becomes a really dynamic plyometric where we go. So you're barely on the Bosu at all. So it's like getting those twitch fibers to move really quickly. Same thing, all about breathing, keep your core on, but you've got to breathe. Okay, in this session we're going to talk about strength-based work. So strength-based work is placing resistance on your muscles so that they learn to take resistance and then switch on different energy phases. When you're doing your martial arts, you might be doing it for half an hour. In your competitions, could be for a long time. So all we're trying to do is overload the muscles with lactic acid, so that's that burning feeling that you get when you're exercising, which is just the muscles rubbing, the myosin and actin rubbing against each other. That's just lactic acid. You won't die from that, but most people, when they feel that burn, they feel they have to stop. You've got to learn to exercise through the burn. It's where your muscles get really strong. Muscles have memory cells, so they will remember that burn. They will remember you exercising past it, which will help in your training. So the first thing that we're going to do is called a reverse lunge and kick. So reverse lunge, so that's a front lunge, which everyone normally does. A reverse lunge, we just go backwards. The leg that's back, you want the hand up, and all we're going to do is kick. Take it slowly back into the lunge, kick, taking it back nice and slow. With this one, you've really got to make sure that when you step back, that knee and this hip are in line. Don't take a huge step where your knee is way past your hip. Have it so that your knee is in line with your hip, but your knee is close to the carpet, hands in line with your shoulder. That's as far as you need to kick. So it's just kick, step back, and kick, step back nice and slow. Try and get your knee close to the carpet so that it's a full lunge, and kick. Nice and slow, so you've got time to concentrate on technique. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is called a low repeater. So it just means one leg is going to do an action for a certain amount of time. So we're going to do 60 repetitions on one leg. Same principle, time under tension. So we're going to load the leg. So we load our left leg here, making sure your foot is straight. So when your foot's straight, knee straight, hip, everything's got to be in line. Don't want your foot out there and your knee here. It's going to cause all sorts of problems. Keep everything straight. Hands together, because you want to keep all of the tension here. This is what's moving, no up and down movement here. We'll take that foot back there, and it's as simple as there. So knee up, toe back. And all you're doing is loading this leg. We're just distracting ourselves from the fact that that's loaded up and burning by moving this leg. And everyone thinks this is the one that should burn and should hurt. It's this one and this butt muscle. Once again, core on strong. Don't let your tummy muscles hang. Make sure they're engaged, nice and strong, but you've got to breathe. So we try and do 60 of those. And then of course we do the other leg. So take your time, it's not a race. Don't do them fast. Once again, you're stretching and contracting ligaments and muscles. Do it nice and slow. But really concentrate on making sure core muscles nice and strong. Okay, next thing we're going to do is called a stiletto wall sit. The reason it's called a stiletto is because we're going to have our feet up as if you've got a pair of heels on. And all we're going to do is bop down. So time under tension legs, this just burns like crazy, but this is really, really the overload principle once again for our muscles. Hands are up on your head, and you just stay like this initially. Do it for a minute, stand up, give your legs a shake, down for another minute. The trick to this one is as soon as you do that, you'll want to scrunch your toes up inside your shoes. Try and keep your toes flat, and your legs will start to shake. That's okay, don't worry about it. But really, once again, there's going to be a little bit of an arch in your back because you can't get your back straight onto the pole or the wall, whatever you're leaning against, because your legs are bent, obviously. So just keeping your hands on your head, chin up high, breathe, and just stay there for your full minute. So for that circuit with the reverse lunge and kick, the low repeaters, and the stiletto wall sit, what we do is 10 reverse lunge and kick on each leg, 60 low repeaters on that leg, 60 low repeaters on this leg, and then a 2-minute stiletto wall sit. Stop, have a break, 30 seconds, and then what we do is we do 20 reverse lunge and kick on each leg, then we're going to do 80 low repeaters on each leg, 3-minute wall sit, 30-second break. Then you do 30 reverse lunge and kick on each leg, then we're going to do 100 of the low repeaters, then you've got a 4-minute wall sit, then you have your break. All of those exercises are really, really hard. It's not something you're going to do for a long time, but it's long enough to overload the muscles, creating resistance, creating overload, therefore creating muscle memory cell, incredible strength in your legs. Okay, still on the strength component, what we're going to do this session is kangaroo jumps, followed by shuttles, which is fairly self-explanatory, and a thing called Spidermans, which is kind of like my signature move. Most people hate them, I really like them. Really, really hard on the core stability. So we're just going to run through what a kangaroo jump is, how to do it, same as Spidermans, and then how to incorporate it into a circuit and for how long we should do it. So basically we'll start with the kangaroo jump. Okay, so kangaroo jump. So we've got to think long, not high. Don't waste your time and effort into high. Think long. When you land, you've got to land on your heels, not your toes. You land on your toes, go straight to your knees. So you land here. You've got to land with your backside down in line with your knees. The lower you land, the more muscles that you have to fire you into your next move. You can use your arms as a little bit of momentum to get you further. So basically it's land light, bum down. Okay, so kangaroo. A couple of things that are really, really important. Making sure your feet, not outside hip, but where your hip bones are. That's how far apart you want your feet. When you look down, both feet facing straight, and then you squat down. Now you can use your arms in this, and all you're going to do is make sure that you jump long, not high. So you do a long jump, but you land on your heels with your backside down. So the lower you go, so we jump, use your arms, land on your heels. So thinking length, not height. So we've done our 1 minute of kangaroo jumps, and then what we do is we just do shuttle runs, which is running backwards and forwards. Don't have to run fast, it's just, this is a little bit like a recovery, not a full recovery, just allows your body to pick up one more energy phase because the next thing that we're going to show is a Spiderman. So you just do your shuttles. Not a fast pace, just a nice gentle pace. Just do that for a minute. I'm just going to talk about Spiderman push-ups, and it's sort of like a travelling push-up. And when you think of Spiderman, it climbs a building, one hand forward, one hand back. That's what we're going to do with our push-up. Same thing, so it's one hand forward, one hand back. You're in a push-up position. You do a full push-up. And what the trick to this one is, take a massive step where your foot comes up close to your hand, walk your feet together, walk your hands out, so the opposite hand is now out to the front and the other one is to the back. Push up, huge step, feet together, walk the hands out. Push, step, feet together, walk your hands. A couple of things to remember about Spiderman push-ups is that it's not a push-up with your hands like that. It's one hand forward, one hand back, but don't turn your shoulders. Make sure your shoulders are still in line. So you do a push-up, then you take a big step. Don't walk your feet a couple of times, just bring your feet together. It's your hands that do the walking. Then you end up with the other hand in front, the other hand back. Push, big step, feet together once, hands walk, opposite hand out. Push. Okay, with that circuit, so we've got kangaroo jumps, shuttles, Spiderman, followed by shuttles, just running backwards and forwards. What you do is a minute of each, so a minute of kangaroos, minute of shuttle, minute of Spiderman, minute of shuttle. So it's 4 minutes straight working. You really do need about a minute rest, about 45 seconds to a minute rest. Then what you do is 2 minutes of kangaroo, 2 shuttle, 2 Spiderman, 2 shuttle. Then you really do need a 2 minute rest. So whatever you work for, you generally rest for. So if you're working for a minute, you rest for a minute. Working for 2, rest for 2. Try and get up to 4 minutes of each. So 4 kangaroo, 4 shuttle, 4 spider, 4 shuttle. Then you have your 4 minute rest. That's going to take a good 20-25 minutes. So you just sort of like keep that in the circuit, but maybe starting off, learning techniques and those sorts of things. Start with your 1 minute and your 2 minute, see how you recover. As you get fitter, you've got the technique down pat, then you can bring in your 3 and 4 minutes.